Hi, my name is Josh and this is the Power Recovery YouTube channel, and on today's video what we're going to be discussing is how to uncover your true life's purpose, so stay tuned and enjoy. So this is the second installment in a two-part video series that I've done on my channel, so I recommend going back and watching the first one if you haven't already. And that one's going to really show you how to decode your value system and why that's important to actually uncover your purpose. And this is just kind of adding on to that. So these are more about prompting questions and also using what your life is demonstrating at the moment and previously to actually uncover your purpose as well. And the main thing for this is if you look at actually the word history and its Greek origin, it actually meant historia, which actually meant to investigate and inquire. You realize if you go through your past experiences and go through your life, it'll probably uncover a lot of artifacts to do with your purpose and what you could actually potentially do for your purpose to serve more people, to be more fulfilled, etc., and live a happier, healthier life. And I really also like this Japanese word. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think it's called ikigai. Definitely recommend looking at it on Google. And it talks about 4 different quadrants. So that you've got essentially your passion, your mission, your profession, and vocation. And it comes with certain prompting questions which I think might be useful for uncovering your purpose. And ikigai, I don't know again if I'm pronouncing that correctly, means in Japanese a reason for being. And I think that's a really cool statement. And that's essentially what your purpose is. It's something that gives you a sense of fulfillment and joy, a sense of direction in your life. And it can be used, like I said on my last video, a bit like a buffer. So even if you have a bad day, it's something that if you know what it is, you can lean on and go back to, and it has a sense of regeneration, sense of passion, sense of happiness that you can go back to it on a bad day and it probably make you feel a lot better. So, but with this ikigai, this Japanese word, they kind of illustrate in 4 different quadrants. I definitely recommend having a look at it on Google. But they ask certain prompting questions of things like, for example, what is it you're actually good at? So have a think about, I would get, for this segment, just get like a pen and paper and write this down. Don't have it all go off in your head because there's so many thoughts you have on a given basis that it's difficult to organize. It's difficult to kind of see it visually. So I recommend thinking on paper for this. So first question, what is it you're actually good at? And kind of quantize it, itemize it, and put on a piece of paper, what is it you're good at? Have a think about through your history. What is it that you've had skill sets in, things that you've developed, maybe things that other people don't have, or things that you're just really, really geared towards, that you have a natural inclination for it. So what is it you're good at? The second question is, what is it the world needs? So this is where the questions now start to overlap. So what is it the world needs? What is it something that you know is a huge problem in the world that only you can solve, or at least help towards solving? So have a think about that. What does the world need? And then the next question is, what was it something that you would love to do? So what would you love to do? Again, this is where it comes in with your history, having a look at what it is you love, what is it you enjoy. So what is it you love? And then the last one is, what is it you could get paid to do? So having to think about what is it you could get paid to do potentially as a career, maybe a part-time gig, doesn't really matter. And have a think about that because that's going to really dictate what's feasible, what's realistic, and also something that you could maybe do in the long term. You may be able to even switch your professions. But a lot of people go about their lives very, very unconsciously, that they don't really spend a lot of time doing this, doing a lot of conscious reflection work, using a pen and paper. It can be quite time consuming and you have to put a lot of time and effort into it to uncover it. But once you have it, it makes things a lot easier. You can guide your life in particular ways that you probably wouldn't do if you weren't to do all this conscious reflection work. So definitely recommend thinking about all them questions in unison, writing on a sheet of paper, and then going from there. And then what you probably realize is, I think with life purpose in general, it isn't always a static thing. That sometimes it will be fluctuating with where your values are in that given moment. And the last thing I wanted to say on this is if particularly you have some form of neurodiversity, say if you've got ADHD, dyslexia, ADD, autism, whatever it is, that you have, because of the kind of hyper focus you have with certain things and that you go after the dopamine hits and stuff like that, it's not uncommon for people who are neurodivergent to have like the kind of multiple interests. They can be like multi-passionate and have this multi-potentiality and be good at many, many different things. So it becomes even more confusing, so you have to really stay on top of it. But it's just to let you know that you can have multiple passions. It might be that you just go in phases with certain things. But the main thing is, I think from doing all this, you might find common threads and these overlapping themes and common denominators that, for example, even though your passions may fluctuate from year to year, whatever it might be, you might find an overarching theme. For example, it could be health, it could be music, it could be art, it could be sports, it could be many different things. And you might be able to find common denominators and realize, right, so that's why I have an inkling towards that, because I'm so passionate about this, that's why I'm passionate about that. And it's just, the element of self-discovery that comes from doing exercises like this and watching videos like this, I think is really, really useful because, if you get to the core of who you are, it means you can actually live a life that you really, really want, rather than just kind of settling for what's easy and what's comfortable. Even though it can be harder initially, I think it will lead to a more fulfilling life. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that video. If you've got any questions, comment below, share the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.